Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the World 5 3-star guide for Overcooked 2. I hope this video helps you if you're having any trouble getting 3 stars on any of the levels. Starting on 5-1, this one can be a little complex if you are not familiar with sushi and burgers, because that is what we are making in this level. World 5 altogether is a pretty difficult world. I'd say this is one of the harder ones, maybe even harder than World 6, but that's to be debated. This level has a pretty simple pattern to the way you're supposed to, well, I say supposed to, but it's really the best optimized way to do this level is that the person on the right is chopping all the ingredients and putting them on the little like rover cart thing, and the person on the left is cooking all the dishes that are upcoming. So like the next 3 ones that are upcoming, the person on the left would make those, while the person on the right is preparing the next couple dishes for the next go around. What we did during this level that made this one super easy was that we would just serve the dishes 3 at a time. So we would focus on 3, at least the person on the left would focus on the first 3, and the person on the right would focus on the next ones coming after that. That made this level very simple, and it really wasn't a challenge for us to keep everything in order. If you do have a problem with that, maybe try to do only 2 at a time. There's of course no shame in doing less than 3. We were just trying to get as many in as we could. But other than that, this level's pretty simple, and you should have no problem getting 3 stars as long as you keep your combo up. So make sure you maintain the orders in their specific order. Don't mix match the orders. If you keep that going, you should have no problem getting 3 stars on this level. Now we are headed to 5-2. This level is quite annoying in my opinion. This one, they went a little too crazy with the fire. So the main dynamic of this level was that the fire in the middle would spew that fire all over the place, blocking a lot of the pathways in order for you to walk by. So it made it hard to kind of maneuver around the level unless you carried a fire extinguisher with you the entire time, as you can see right there. That time it was only 2, but later in the level you'll notice it does sometimes like 8 or 9 spots all over the board, and you have to just, either wait it out or you could bring a fire extinguisher. So the way we tried to optimize this one was we went back to the whole order strategy. So each person would handle a certain amount of orders. So Malia would handle 2 of the first, like say Malia would handle the first 2, and then I would handle the 3rd and the 4th one. And we made sure to stagger them out so that way we could do them in order to keep our combos up, ensuring that we would get 3 stars on no matter what. But other than that, this level is pretty simple. Be sure to have a fire extinguisher always at a ready position, because if you block your fire extinguisher, or let's say the fire blocks you from even getting to your fire extinguisher, it's going to make it really hard to maneuver around the level. So be sure to watch out for that. And other than that, this one should be a breeze. 5-3. This one was by far the most dynamic out of any of the levels. This one threw a curveball onto this world. This one was very different. So the whole premise, as you can see, is that your entire kitchen is based around that little conveyor belt, kind of, like movie system. So you had to go to each of the areas around the map, but only to do that you had to control the actual thing you're standing on. On co-op, this takes some coordination, a surprising amount for some reason. Like, as you could see, Malia's having trouble even putting the pot back on the thing just because of the janky movement of that little gyro thing. So a lot of the time, you kind of have to focus especially heavily on making sure your teammate is in a ready position in order to grab whatever they're trying to grab. Because if they're still doing stuff and you start like moving around the little box, it's going to make it kind of hard to actually move around. Keeping your combos, on this one we really tried to keep more on the side of doing only 2 orders at a time. We would never try to do 3 or more because we didn't have enough table space on our little tiny island right there in order to make 3 dishes, let's say. So we stuck to 2, and that was pretty simple. That gave us 3 stars, no problem, because we were able to focus on our combos super easily because there's only mushroom and steak in this level. So this one is pretty easy to get 3 stars on. If you're having trouble, I would say just try to take each section a little slower, because this one you can get a little, where you can fall off quite easily on this one, so be sure to be a little more careful, especially on this level. Now heading on to 5-4. This level was surprisingly easy because it introduces a new dish, pancakes. These are completely new to Overcooked. These weren't in the first game. These are exclusive and new to Overcooked 2. So in this level, there's 2 kinds of pancakes that you can make. You can make just regular pancakes, which uses flour and an egg, or you can make the chocolate variant, which is flour, egg, and chocolate. The chocolate has to be chopped. The flour and the egg can be thrown right into the mixer, and you don't have to really worry about that. Pancakes, once they're done in the mixer, are put onto the frying pan, and then once they're done there, you can serve them via a plate. So this level really isn't a problem. The only thing that kind of throws, or at least threw me off at the beginning, was the teleporter. So the way the teleporter works, just so you don't have to figure it out for yourself, is that bottom one will take you through the one that's swinging left and right, and the ones on the left and the right, far left, right, will always take you to the one on the bottom. So if you need to go to the left side over there, you have to wait till the swinging one comes over to the left before you can actually go over there. And if you need to go to the right, you have to wait till the swinging one goes over to the right if you were on the bottom. Or, like you just right here, the stairs come up, and then it's a free reign whichever way. So throughout this level, it cycles back and forth between these 2. Also, if you want to take a little exploit, don't serve any dishes in the beginning, as you can see right now, because the timer isn't moving. So in the beginning, if you want to prepare a ton of dishes, you can if you want to, but if you don't want to use that exploit, then by all means, you don't have to. We did it just because we were trying to get a super high score, or at least as high as we could. So other than that, this one should be super simple. If you have any troubles with this one, you can either do the jobs on this one, or you could do the specific orders. This one shouldn't be too big of a deal because it's the first introduction of pancakes, so I wouldn't assume they would make this one very difficult. And here we are on 5-5. This level also unlocks Kevin 7, in case you were wondering. This one, on the wiki and on many articles that I read, only said how to unlock Kevin 7 by saying you needed a combo of 8. And this was the level that we figured out what combos mean. So I'm going to talk about that just pretty extensively here, just because it is such a prevalent thing on this level specifically. So on this level, we are making pasta again. It's using mushrooms, tomatoes, or beef. Both the beef and the tomatoes are on the left side, but if you need a mushroom dish, the person on the right is going to have to toss you one over. So the mushrooms can be just thrown right over without any worry about them falling into the void. You can just throw them right over, no problem. So the strategy we used for this one was right at the beginning, we would on both the sides, we would put those little moving pads to right where you see them now. So one on the washing thing there, and then one on the chopping block. So we would move them right there, so that way each person could move freely up and down between their stations. This was pretty important because to unlock the secret stage, you need to get a combo of 8, which means you need to cook at a minimum of 8 dishes. And all while making 8 dishes, you have to put them and turn them in order. Which means you're going to have to be cooking constantly throughout most of the time. The person on the right, I could say by far has an easier job because all you have to do is throw the pasta in the pans. So the person on the left is going to be having a little bit of a rougher time, but it's not as bad if you are pretty good at what you're actually doing. So as you can see right about now, we already had 6 dishes in by this point, so we were pretty far ahead. So if you are like us, where you're kind of far ahead, you don't really need to rush, but you can if you want to. So other than that, this stage is pretty simple because it's only pasta. The only thing that can get a little confusing is moving that little machine thing. The easiest way to do that, and I can't stress this more, is by both of people on your team doing it at the same time. You should never do it at different times because that'll just mix everything up. Once you have those stations, so the second station we always went to is right here, where we were both passing orders back and forth when we both had food ready. This was the most optimal strategy that we could find. We could get up to 11 orders doing it this way. If anyone else has any other optimal strategy, please, by all means, post it in the comments. I'd be down trying to get really high scores on this one, because we played this one a lot trying to figure out how to unlock Kevin 7. But you hear from me now. If you want to have a fully extensive thing on Kevin 7 or any of the Kevin levels, go over to that guide, and over there I can show you guys how to do all of them and the best way to do it on each of those levels. And as you can see, we did unlock Kevin 7. If you have any other questions about the Kevin levels, go check out my Kevin 3-star guide / how to unlock on my channel. It helps with all of the Kevin levels over there. As well, to finish this off, we have 5-6. This one is a pretty nuts level. This one transitions twice, so we have 3 different kitchens all in one level here, and that's also represented to why we have 5 minutes on this level. So this one goes from kind of like this alien crazy, there's a bunch of lava, I guess, all over the place. And on this one we are cooking pasta once again, but once we switch for the first time, it'll still be cooking pasta, but instead of going from this goopy kind of crappy area, you go to a completely open kitchen. So during that transition, which you will see here soon, that is the time to get as much done as you can. So I will catch up to you guys when you get over to that section, because this section kind of sucks, so I'll catch you guys over to when you have a completely open kitchen. And now we are switching to this kind of like vortex looking part of the stage. It may not look like the whole map is open, but trust me, the entire area is completely open. This is a completely open kitchen. So now is the best time to focus on getting your combos and focus on getting as many orders in as you can. So this is also kind of limited by the amount of time you have to wait for each of the foods to cook. So try to get the things on the burner as fast as you can, because that will guarantee you the most time spent actually making food. It's not about necessarily making the dishes, it's about putting the things on the burners. That's what equates to how much food you actually make. As well, try to focus on your combos, because if this is probably the easiest, this is the easiest section in the entire level. So you want to get the most out of this time you have, because it's not too long. So get these orders in as fast as you can. And now we got the basic old kitchen that's super simple and not too complicated. The only thing you have to really worry about this one is the only thing you really have to worry about now is, along with your beef, mushroom, and tomato pasta, you're now also making fish and shrimp pasta. But from like the 4 times we've played through this level, we've never really had a time where we actually were faced to make a fish or shrimp thing. I don't know why that is, but it seems like the orders that with the other dishes are coming in faster than the actual ones with the fish and the shrimp, so they can't really register, from what I can tell. So I wouldn't really worry about the fish and the shrimp, because it most likely won't happen. If it does, of course, it's over there by the rest of the foods, so, you know, just make that one. Now you only got like 2 minutes left during this whole section, so now's the time to try to keep your combos up as long as you can. Remember, combos are when you get the dishes in order, not when you get them in fast. That was a mistake that we had. But other than that, this level, if you do it properly, especially if you spend a really good time in making a lot of dishes in that like void period, then you should have no problem getting 3 stars on this level. And that is going to do it. There's the achievement for 3 stars on all of levels in World 5. Thank you so much for watching. Check out all the other 3-star guides on my channel. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.